Hi there, welcome to the Ecofina Financial Channel. My name is Philip, and today I'll be taking you through one important event in the global economy. Remember to click the subscribe button and set up the notification so that you can receive regular updates from this channel. Today, there's a new vocabulary in town. I know you must have heard of Naira for dollar, you must have heard of the e-Naira, but today there's a new vocabulary and it's RT200. So, in simple terms, just to explain what that means, the RT200 is a new FX repatriation scheme of the Central Bank of Nigeria, and it means the raise to $200 billion from non-oil exports proceeds between 3 to 5 years. So, with that, we welcome you to this edition where we'll be looking at the launch of the RT200 and the CBN's target to stop the sale of FX to banks by the end of the year. Yes, you heard that right. The Central Bank of Nigeria is planning to stop the sale of FX to banks by December 2022. So today we'll be looking at what the RT200 stands for, and we'll also be looking at the implications of what the CBN is trying to do to stop the sale of FX to banks. First, about the RT200, is starting immediately. So what the CBN is trying to do is to try and provide concessions to local manufacturers and local producers, and also to provide loans at a very low rate. 5% is the target, so that they can encourage non-oil exports. So, of course, the CBN sees this as a major way to boost Nigeria's foreign exchange earnings. Over the years, the dependence has been on oil. Oil accounts for close to 90% of Nigeria's foreign exchange earnings. And given the fact that there is no certainty about where the oil price will be at any particular time, it creates its own issues. Right now, oil price is close to $100, which ordinarily should be good news for Nigeria. But given the fact that Nigeria continues to export crude oil and then still, has a lot of subsidy to ensure that Nigerians get the benefits of being an oil-producing country, it means that the net effect is not really too much because we still spend a significant portion of the foreign exchange earnings on importing petroleum products. So that's a big challenge, and the CBN is seeing this as a way to boost non-oil exports. It's a good idea, but when you look at it critically, you see that it takes more than a monetary policy, especially when it comes to things that are targeted at manufacturers and other producers. Because if the fiscal policy is not right and the fiscal policy sits with the government, it will be difficult for the central bank to achieve whatever it is that they are planning to achieve. Even with the low rates they are planning to offer, low interest rates, loans they want to offer, concessions they want to offer. In fact, they are planning to give loans at a 10-year tenure, a moratorium of 2 years. But there's still a limit to what that can achieve. If, of course, if the infrastructural development is not strong enough to boost exports, because it is one thing for you to produce. How do you get it to the port? If the roads are not good, if the transport system as a whole is not strong enough, then it still limits what can be done. Another thing is the ports, but the CBN thinks that they will be able to establish a non-oil export terminal, which will make it easier for producers to export their goods. But again, even if the CBN is able to establish that, who will manage it? Is it not the same people who operate the current ports? Will it still not be congested, with that same management? So those are the issues. Non-oil exports, yes, everyone knows that that is the way to go, and that's the major way to boost Nigeria's foreign exchange earnings. But can they achieve it with this strategy that they have given? And it's December, which the CBN is targeting to stop the sale of FX. Is it not too soon? Because when we look at the implications of what this policy means, because it means that the exchange rate will likely now be market determined. If the CBN is no longer selling to banks, then the CBN also cannot stop banks from selling at whatever rate they want to sell. And this has general implications, especially for people who buy personal travel allowance, who go for medical tourism, business travel allowance, school fees. If the CBN is no longer selling to banks, then you cannot expect that banks will sell at the rate they currently sell, which is much lower than what you probably get in the parallel market. So there are implications for this. How much production can happen between now and December that will be strong enough for banks to be able to meet the foreign exchange needs of their customers? And of course, even if there is export proceeds, one thing that is clear is the the producers or the manufacturer does not have to sell these export proceeds. They are not under any obligation whatsoever. If you make revenue, you are not under obligation to spend it. You are not under obligation or any other obligation to sell it to the banks. So the export proceeds can even be sitting with the banks, and the customers will not sell. So even if that is improved, which might help the liquidity a bit, the customers are not under any obligation to sell. So there would still be most likely shortage, even if Nigeria manages to increase the export proceeds to a high level. There's still the part that the those who make the export proceeds are not under any obligation to sell. So definitely, or if they sell, they will sell at the rate that they feel is comfortable for them or is market determined. So definitely can expect an increase in the naira dollar exchange rate. That's certain. Uh, like we mentioned before, the non-oil terminal guarantees nothing because it is still going to be managed by the same people who manage the ports in Nigeria at the moment. CBN does not have the mandate to manage the ports by themselves. But even if the CBN is also laying claim to something that the naira for dollar has probably increased the diaspora remittance to Nigeria from $6 million to $100 million, and of course that's also driving the reason why they want to drive this out to 200. But let's look critically at that. Is the dollar remittance from diaspora remittances, is it as a result of the naira for dollar policy, or is it because there has been an increased number of migrants or increased number of people in diaspora? You have to look at that, because otherwise you'll be looking at the effect of a policy which probably hasn't even had so much effect, but you'll be confusing what has really been happening, because there's an increasing number of Nigerians in diaspora, and that might be the factor actually driving up the diaspora remittance and not necessarily the naira for dollar. And it is important that the central bank gets it right. Otherwise, they'll be making policies which are still not as efficient as they should be. So that's our thoughts. It's still early days. Even as the RT200 unravels, we hope to give you more information and, of course, try to help you understand it. But whatever you think about this, you can let us know in the comment section. Do you think the RT200 is strong enough to solve Nigeria's FS crisis, or do you think it is another white elephant project? Let's know what you think, and we'll be back with you next time.